Hello there, people of the internet. This is an airsoft gun. This airsoft gun I had growing up. There's not a whole lot that I can say about this thing. There's not a whole lot that I have to say about this thing. It's just a little carbine version of an AR platform airsoft gun, single shot. Well, by single shot, I mean not an automatic airsoft gun. It's one of those spring-powered ones that whenever you pull the charging handle back and let it go forward, you fire and it has one round, and then you pull it back and let it go forward again, and you have to cock it every time you want to fire it. Now many years ago this thing broke and I took it apart in an attempt to at least see how it works. I discovered the barrel was a 22 caliber barrel, and you can imagine what I did with that 22 caliber barrel. I was like 12 years old at the time. I think I threw the rest of this into some box somewhere, and then I was going through my stuff not too terribly long ago, rediscovered this thing, and I was looking at it and I was like, you know what, I bet I could make some interesting content with this. Well, not this specifically. I went ahead and I took some hardware off of this to go ahead and see what I can get off of this to use on actual firearms. I was thinking about using the folding stock here. I probably could if I did some modifications to an actual firearm, but the back of the receiver on this molded plastic airsoft toy is necessary for this folding stock. It's not like an attachment that attaches onto the back of the receiver. The folding stock itself is a piece of the back of the receiver, so it would take some significant modifications to pull this thing off of here and then strap it onto some other piece of equipment that I have. So I was thinking it's possible. I might do that. There'd be no real reason to do that other than for kicks, and that's what this video right here is for. This is just for fun, just for kicks. Don't go thinking that I'm saying this is a good idea by any stretch of the imagination. The magazine detach on this thing, the magazine release, that's the word I'm working for. The magazine release on this thing is different than your standard AR model, so I'm not going to be able to use that. The Picatinny rails on this thing, potential use for potential later on in videos. I would have to drill some additional holes in it because they are not they're not mil spec, surprisingly. My measurements bring this thing out to be like 18 millimeters in width, so there's a lot of things that could not fit on this Picatinny rail, and I believe that was probably done intentionally. Charging handle on this thing, profile is completely different than a real charging handle, but the one thing I was able to pull off of this thing to throw on a real rifle, this is my Delton AR. For any YouTube reviewers out there, all magazines are going to be below 20 round capacity, and all of your ARs are going to be semi-automatics. So you guys have seen this Delton AR on the channel. I'm sure I've showed it off several times by the time you guys actually get around to seeing this video. But I went ahead and I took the sights off of the Picatinny rail on that thing. I'm like, you know what? My Delton has a Picatinny rail on the handguard and receiver. Let's go ahead and throw these bad boys onto the Delton and bring it out to the gun range. And honestly, I wasn't really going to record this. I was just going to kind of come out here and have fun with it. But hey, you guys seem to enjoy watching my ridiculous shenanigans that I do on this channel. So, and I mean, let's be honest, this is not by any stretch of the imagination the stupidest thing that I've ever done on this channel. If you've been around on the channel for any real length of time, you've probably seen me do some pretty terrifying things. Anyway, we have a front sight and a rear sight. Rear sight's just an aperture ghost sight. Front sight is just a fixed front post. Neither of these are adjustable. They are folding, but neither of them are adjustable for windage or elevation. They're very literally just molded plastic sights, and they are extremely, what's the word I'm looking for? They don't have a lot of durability. I can't find the word that I'm looking for, but they don't have a lot of durability. They could break very easily. These are not combat sights by any stretch of the imagination. I always recommend metal sights because I've seen plastic ones break on so many different occasions. Or you could run yourself an optic. For optics, I always recommend getting something that is at least aluminum. Like I said, this video here is literally just for fun, and we're gonna take a couple of shots downrange to see if I can manage to hit a target with these non-adjustable airsoft sights that I got from this airsoft rifle I've had for many years. I am not hopeful, and I am not expecting very much here. The front sight, literally 0 adjustment available on it. The rear sight actually has different options for what sort of aperture you want. No elevation or windage adjustments. They're all the type of aperture that you are looking for. Well, I guess as the apertures get skinnier and wider, I could like line up the front sight with the center of that skinnier or wider aperture, and I guess that would kind of help with elevation, but not really. We have not a lot of play with this thing at all. I'm going to start off with the largest aperture hole, and we're gonna see what happens. All right, let me put my ears on here. I would be absolutely astonished if these sights didn't fall off immediately, let alone if they actually managed to hit target. All right, Tula 223 55 grain full metal jackets. These are nothing special rounds at all. I'm just gonna go ahead and aim for the steel silhouette. This way I have a point of reference and I can see where or if I actually hit the thing. All right, terrible idea. Number 1, let's go. Well, we did not hit it. I'm not surprised. I'm not sure where I hit though. I literally cannot see where I'm hitting. Let me try aiming low. Did I hit it? I see some dust flying around out there. Let me try low again. By Jove, I think we're hitting it. Okay, well, survey says we are in fact hitting it. This thing seems to fire with these sights. Fires exceptionally high, so I have to aim quite a deal low, and we appear to be aiming or hitting a little bit to the right as well, so I'm going to go ahead and try to compensate for that a little bit. Besides that, hey, I've had actual factory sights that have been more off than these things. I wish that these were adjustable. That would make things a lot easier here. Okay, well, we hit our target. I have to aim at the bottom corner, and I'm hitting like roughly the middle, like the upper right-ish of the middle. But hey, I hit the target. I'm impressed. The sight is becoming loose. It is not, yeah, these sights are literally just kind of held on with Phillips screws, essentially, and my rear sight is backwards. Okie dokie. Well, why the hell not? Let's wander down there and look at the target. Okay, so my point of aim has been basically right here, and we are hitting, generally speaking, right there. So definitely aiming, or definitely hitting a little bit high and a little bit right. But hey, what do you want for airsoft sights? So hey, I can honestly say, like legitimately say, I am impressed. I was literally expecting to come out here and not hit the target at all and say, do not put airsoft sights on a real firearm. I'm gonna say that anyway, do not put airsoft sights on a real firearm. But if they're all you have, then I'd rather have airsoft sights than no sights. Kentucky windage, I was able to hit the target. Not the ideal situation, and I don't foresee me being able to hit the target at any real significant distance. This is only about 40 yards or so. So at this distance, we're hitting like a foot right and like 6 inches high. So like I said, if we go out any further, I'd have to really apply some significant Kentucky windage to try and make hits on target. With a lot of practice, I'm sure that you could pull that off. But with ammo prices, you're better off not spending that money on ammunition and instead of getting yourself an actual pair of sights. Either way, this was a fun video to make. I had a good time. Not the most practical of options by any stretch of the imagination, but it was entertaining nonetheless. These would not be as disappointing if they were adjustable, because if they were adjustable, I could absolutely zero these things in for this 223 ammunition that I'm running. But the fact that they're not adjustable is one of the reasons why I wanted to make this video. Like, if these were just plastic sights and they were fully adjustable and, you know, flip up, you know, sights, they'd basically be the same kind of plastic sights that you would get from, like, the cheap eBay stores. The crudeness and the lack of functionality is one of the reasons why I wanted to test these bad boys. So, yeah, airsoft sights on an actual AR. I will say the airsoft AR is a lot lighter weight. If this fired actual 223 ammunition, this would actually be a pretty decent little firearm if the sights were decent. I have a bunch of just riffraff, I'm going to call it. I have a bunch of riffraff that I've scribbled onto the side of this thing. I don't know what a lot of it means. I got a .129 and MS or an MCS R01, that might be like the name of the rifle or the designation or something. KT01, I don't know what any of this means. I'm assuming that the fire control group on this thing is likely very, very different from a real AR. I might be able to use the plastic trigger itself, but again, I'm very doubtful. I think the only thing I'd be able to pull off that thing is the sights and potentially the Picatinny rail if I had some sort of setup to be able to mount that. I'd have to like jerry rig something, but I could probably make that work. Anyway, folks, I actually have several videos much like this one that I plan on making today, so thanks for watching. Like the video if you like the video, subscribe to the channel if you feel like doing that. Besides that, I don't really know how else to end this. I'm gonna go dig out some other sights to throw onto this Delton AR-15 here. I have a couple of other things that I want to try out, so I'm gonna go do that, and boy is it gonna be disappointing. you guys go off, have yourself a fantastic day, and stick around for that right there. Hold on, since I have this out here, support FPC and support GOA. We need them right now more than we ever have. I fully insist on supporting the people who are fighting tooth and nail to support people like us. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you guys go off, have yourself a fantastic day. Been a little while since I've done this. Bonnie and Clyde be damned. Poor man's Garen. It's a shame that bolt-action shotguns aren't more mainstream.